I'm Kristen Donahue, president of the Pioneer Valley Symphony, and I would like to welcome our special guests from Happier Valley Comedy, Enchanted Circle Theater, and Straw Dog Writers Guild. We are thrilled to include talented artists from these organizations in our program, and we hope you'll take a look at their websites and explore the work they're doing. We thank tonight's generous event sponsor, Lathrop Communities, who have a strong commitment to providing their residents with access to the vibrant cultural and educational life of the Pioneer Valley. This event is also made possible by our generous series sponsor, Greenfield-Northampton Cooperative Bank, and through support from New England Public Media and the Massachusetts Cultural Council, a state agency. The PVS is one of the oldest established community orchestras in the US, with over 80 years providing exceptional musical opportunities to our local region. This year, we've expanded our outreach and our audience in large part because of generous donors, sponsors, and volunteers supporting our work. If you would like to make a gift now, become a sustaining donor, or just shop in our store, please follow the link in your chat or visit our website. You can also become more involved with the PVS by joining our membership. We have multiple virtual programs for adults and youth, including opportunities to make music with our orchestra meetups, chorus meet and sings, and our virtual choir, and our virtual youth orchestra. For our virtual programs, there are no geographical restrictions, and we would love to have you join us. The PVS is honored to bring dynamic virtual programming like tonight's event to you and your families. The paid programming we're hosting this year supports all the PVS activities that are keeping our organization at the forefront of a virtual music revolution. Many community orchestras were not able to sustain their programming last year, and we are so grateful for the incredible effort of our music directors, our staff, and our volunteers to sustain and grow the vitality of our amazing community of musicians and music enthusiasts. Thank you for your ticket purchase. It really does make a difference, and we are very excited for the future of the PVS. Be sure to mark your calendars for our next musical mosaic event, Roots and Branches, Wednesday, March 24th at 7 p.m. It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's host and moderator, Sarah Paquette, Assistant Director of Choral Activities at Smith College and the Chorus Director of the Pioneer Valley Symphony Chorus, Chamber Choir, and Virtual Choir. Sarah has outdone herself in re-envisioning this concert, which was originally planned to be a live choral concert, and now is a multi-artistic collaboration with some of our creative neighbors in the Pioneer Valley, plus our own PVS virtual choir. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I hope you enjoy the show.
Thank you so much, Kristen, and thank you everyone for being here with us tonight. As Kristen said, this project has been long in the making. We first envisioned it as a choral concert over a year ago, in February of last year. And here we are tonight for the virtual sphere performance of this concert. It's been kind of completely reimagined to include a lot of folks from other arts disciplines in the local Valley arts community, which we're just thrilled about. It's one of those situations where, the original version of this that would have happened in person has undergone this kind of dramatic transformation. And, this 2.0 version is probably much better and much more refined than the original would have been. So we're really excited to offer this to you tonight. Thank you for making the time to be here with all of us. And as I noted in the program notes, in part we're excited because we've been joking that we've kind of initiated a new holiday at the PVS because of this event. So we're kind of in the calendar right halfway between Valentine's Day, the holiday of romance and love, and April Fool's Day, very important holiday for fools and jokes of all kinds. And so here we are for Fools in Love, right in the middle. This program tonight will take you through many different lenses on the idea of love, the foolish things that we do for love, the foolish things that others do for us, for our love. We'll go through comedy, tragedy, the mundane, the everyday, and hopefully it will just give you a chance to kind of reflect on the love in your life in all forms. And I think we all can use that kind of reflection at this time. We've all had a bit of a difficult year. So thank you for being here for this journey with us tonight. You can use the chat throughout tonight's performance to engage with one another, to make comments, to ask questions, and we will make space and time for those as we go. There's no formal Q&A time at the end. So if you do have questions as we go, please feel free to ask them throughout and we'll answer them in the chat there for you. Let's get started. Our first thing on the program tonight is an improv comedy show, which is something that as a choral conductor I've never been able to introduce as part of one of our concerts, and we're so excited to be able to do so. So we'll get started with Scott and Pam and Maddie and Kate from Happier Valley Comedy. Please welcome them with some virtual applause. Thanks for being here.
Yes, virtual applause. Thank you so much for having us. We are Happier Valley Comedy. I'm bringing my co-hosts on here. This is Pam, and we have, of course, Maddie, and then we have Kate. Here she comes with hearts on. Thank you so much. We're glad to be here. We're improvising, which means everything we're doing right now is made up on the spot using suggestions from you. We'll be taking suggestions from you in the chat box. So if you don't have your chat open already, go ahead and do that now. And just to try it out, type in, so everyone can see it right in the chat box, type in your favorite type of love. And there is no wrong answer. Your favorite type of love. Sarah said there's lots of kinds of love, right? So what kind of love are you a fool for? Back rubs, pets, puppy love, chocolate, silly, yes, first, queer love, I love it. Yes, I love love. So many kinds of love. We're going to be playing with those ideas tonight, and obviously you're going to be seeing a lot tonight on the theme of love and being a fool for love. We are going to start by pitching some brand new movies, some movies that have never existed before, some love movies. So to get started, could someone please type in their initials into the chat window, your initials, and we will use those letters to pitch some brand new movies. Let's see, I got SK. We'll start with SK. So we're going to pitch some movie titles using the letters SK for some love movies. Pam, why don't you start? SK.
Show King.
Show King. Give me the pitch.
Give a pitch? Well, Show King. It's a movie starring a dog named King who's getting ready for the big show. Show King.
Love it. Love it. Kate, SK.
Surely Killing.
Surely Killing. Tell me about it.
Yeah, Surely Killing is my favorite movie that's come out in this last year, and it is about people who are so in love that they have that feeling where you want to just smother it. You're surely killing it, but you're not. It's nice.
Maddie, SK.
Suddenly Kissing.
Oh.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so Jenny and Lou have been in a sort of will they, won't they relationship for as long as anyone can remember. And then one day they wake up and they both have magnetic mouths and they're suddenly kissing. What could go wrong?
I love it. I think we're going to see a pivotal scene from the movie Suddenly Kissing. This one has Maddie and Pam in it. So Kate and I are just going to step off screen. Maddie and Pam, this is it's a two-part scene. One, the night before when they go to sleep, right? And things are kind of awkward. And then the next scene, the morning when they wake up, and of course their mouths have become magnetic. Please take it away.
I'm sure nothing awkward or weird will happen tonight.
No. Just normal
everyday sleepy
normal night.
Oh God, it's morning already. I'm not ready for it. What is
Scene. Hey, this is PG-13. None of that hot and steamy Zoom kissing.
I think I lost.
I love it. Feel free to clean your cameras if you need to. We will pitch one more movie using some initials here. Let's see. I see MFG. MFG. So some love movies with the title using the letters MFG. Maddie, would you start us off?
Many fantastic genomes.
I can't wait. Lay it on me.
This is a love story of the ages. Two scientists working in competing labs suddenly lock eyes over the tops of their pipettes, and what started as a race to map the genome of the gorilla has turned into a race to map the contours of each other's hearts.
Sounds great. I just feel like it's kind of been done before, you know? It's like sort of a trope at this point.
There's something to be said for tropes.
Kate, MFG.
Must Find Gary.
Tell me about it.
We start at an airport and there is a lost bag. And although you're supposed to see something, say something, this woman is just drawn into this bag. And the only clue on it is Gary. And she waits and she waits and she waits and no one claims it. And she thinks, I must find Gary.
I love it. Pam, MFG.
FG. Oh, okay, go with me on this one. Moose farts. Gross.
Yep. Okay, you had me in the first half. Not gonna lie. Tell me about the movie.
All right, so it's like a kind of like a teenager gross flick, you know, and it's just about this moose who farts all the time. It's super gross until he meets somebody who thinks it's adorable. It's a love story. Yeah.
So sweet. Okay, Pam, are you prepared to play a moose tonight?
Oh, I thought, okay, sure.
Yeah. Let's have this lovely meeting between Pam and Kate. You'll do this one. Kate, you're the other moose who just comes along and happens to find those little toots are just adorable.
Of course I do.
Oh, excuse me.
It's okay. I actually think it's cute.
Well, most people think it's gross.
Not I.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Stephanie, by the way. I graze in this pasture all the time.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, hello, Stephanie. I'm Mildred.
Mildred, I'm here like every day. This is my pasture. Do you come here often?
So finally somebody's giving the do you come here often to me. Usually no, yes. I don't. No, I don't. No.
Well, I hope you will in the future.
I shall.
Oh, what a budding romance. I love it. Pam, feel free to, Pam and Kate, feel free to unmoose yourselves as we move forward. Look, audience, you know, you showed up Pioneer Valley Symphony. You thought you were going to get some classy entertainment, and you find yourself sitting here on a Saturday night watching a scene about moose farts. And that's
on you. That's on you for inviting Happier Valley Comedy.
We're going to move on to our next game, and we're going to need a little help from the audience on this one. If you would be interested and willing to join us on stage and provide some words or lines, we promise we'll take good care of you. We will use everything you give us. There's no wrong answer. If you want to do that, just write your name in the chat window. Write your name in the chat window. I love it. Look, we got immediate responses. People are ready.
There's a Gary here.
Move on. All right. So I saw Allie. Someone wrote Allie under the name Sean Packett. Let's see. Let me see how I can pull you on stage. And what you're going to be doing is helping us out with. Oh, is someone doing it for me?
Allie left the room.
Oh.
Allie's embarrassed.
Allie
left the room.
Usually in a live show, if someone points someone else, we grab the person who pointed. We've never.
Oh, that's me then.
I love it. Sean, I presume?
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, Sean, even if you didn't quite mean to. And let's get Gary as well. Gary Pausner will also join us.
Woo! We won!
Just hang out there for now, Allie. You're fine. You're good. Great. Awesome. All right. All right. So
you found Gary.
Hi, Gary. Thank you so much for joining us. Sean and Gary, you're going to be filling in some words or lines for Pam and Kate, who are about to do a love scene, and they might need your help a little bit. Those of you who were not lucky enough to be selected to help us out, if you could type in the chat window your favorite pet name for someone you love. Your favorite pet name for someone you love. You can type that in. That'll be our suggestion. So Sean, you're going to be helping out Pam. So whenever Pam says line, you're just going to fill in the rest of her line for her. And it can be anything. There's no wrong answer. Whatever comes to mind. So Pam, do you want to test this out a little bit?
Sure. You are my Pookie. You are my heart. When I think of you, I think of
Pizza.
line. What's that, Sean?
Pizza.
Pizza. I think of pizza.
Perfect. And Gary, you will be doing the same thing for Kate. Kate, you want to give Gary a test run?
Absolutely. I've never felt such incredible, burning line.
Pesto.
Pesto.
You guys can eat dinner before the show if you.
I didn't. That's the problem.
All right, great. So we're going to use for our suggestion for the scene, home slice. That was a suggestion given in the chat, home slice. So Pam and Kate, take it away with the help of your audience volunteers.
Yeah, I am so excited that you agreed to go on this date with me. Thank you so much. Man,
I'm surprised you're surprised that I said yes. Of course I was going to say yes. I've been dying for you to ask me for months.
I know. I get nervous. You know, I was gonna ask you before, but then
Robots broke into my apartment.
But then you see robots broke into my apartment. Yeah, weird thing that happened. And then I just was like, awkward, couldn't do it.
Oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you like cohabitating, or are they gone?
I just turned them off.
Oh wow. That's really ingenious. Oh man, I wouldn't have thought invading robots just had an off button right at the back.
They never show that in the movie, but they do. I mean, do you know how I turned them off? I just pressed the line.
The red button on the back.
The red button on the back. Duh.
Oh my gosh, that's so weird.
It said off. It literally said off.
Oh, that seems like a flaw in the design. The last time I saw something that poorly designed was the line.
Was when I was sitting in a boat on the river, and there was this big hole right in the middle of the boat, and water was just pouring in. Like, what the?
Was when I was sitting in a boat in the river, and there was a hole in the middle of the boat, and water was just pouring in. And I thought, why would somebody make and rent me a boat with a hole in it and then push me off?
What'd you do next? How'd you get out?
Well, I started, the first thing that I did, first of all, was I
basically just stuck my butt in that hole to stop the water from coming in.
Yeah, stuck my butt in the hole, and then the propulsion went the opposite way, and then that's how that happened.
Oh, well, there you go. It's such a great. Oh, you forgot. I brought you something for our date. It's a show of my affection. It's a line.
Pizza.
It's a pizza, home slice.
Who would have known? I can't believe you remember my nickname from 20 years ago.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Do you like the pizza? I have it. There's on top of it, there's pepperoni, cheese, and line.
Anchovies.
Anchovies?
You know, my favorite thing about pizza is the way it makes me feel. And the way it makes me feel is line.
Oh, just all gooey and runny and soft and
gooey and runny and soft and you know.
Lovely. Thank you so much to Sean and to Gary. Thank you for jumping up to help us out. Sean, I hope you learned a valuable lesson. Allie got out of this one, but yeah. I love it. So for our last, we're just with you for a short time tonight. So for our very last game tonight, I'm going to bring Maddie back on because Maddie, Kate, and Pam are going to tell you a love poem that they're going to make up on the spot. It's an ode. So please write in the chat the most unusual thing you can think of that someone would write an ode to. Something unusual that you love so much you have to compose poetry about it. Oh, lovely. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Yes. Good, good, good.
Oh, seltzer.
Oh,
I could.
wow. A lot of-
Baby Yoda. My husband would tell a note. My husband is crazy pants for Baby Yoda.
The world is. The world is. We open up our wallets without hesitation. So we're going to go with seltzer. I like seltzer. We're going to give you an ode to seltzer, and these three will be telling this poem, creating this poem collaboratively. So please enjoy the ode to seltzer. Let's see. Zoom there.
Pop, 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 pop. Pop, pop, go the bubbles of my heart. My heart pops for thee.
The seltzer, sweet seltzer. Whenever I'm feeling down, I know all I have to do is pop and listen to that sweet sound
Of the fizz coming to the top. Open the fridge and there you are, always waiting, always.
Waiting for me as if I were the answer to your prayers. It's as if there was a spotlight on me.
and I was the star of a play about us, you and me,
And me and you
and you and I,
and I and thee.
And thou and thee and we.
sweet seltzer.
You seltzer face.
It's amazing. Your face is amazing to me. The front of the can, amazing. The front.
Of my heart, shaped perfectly to hold you there.
In my hand, heart,
And esophagus.
and stomach too.
And when those bubbles sometimes bubble back
To the top, they bubble to the top with fury.
of my heart, of my mind, of my throat, seltzer, sweet seltzer, from the first sip to the final burp.
I love
Seltzer.
seltzer.
Sweet.
Yeah, all right. Nicely done. An ode to seltzer. That is it for our time. We're so happy to be here with you tonight. We hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you, Pioneer Valley Symphony. And again, we're Happier Valley Comedy in Hadley. You can find us at happiervalley.com. We hope to see you again soon. Love. Yay, love.
Thank you all so much. That was so fun. Thanks to all four of you. Thanks for being here. You got us off to such an excellent start. And thank you to our two wonderful audience participation members as well, and everyone who participated in the chat. Thank you for this. So we'll continue on in a few moments exploring the sort of comedic side of love in just a few seconds. But before that, we have a bit of a pit stop through some English madrigal singing that we have to make on our way to the continued humor of love. So in a moment, what we'll ask you to do, if you feel so inclined at home, is to sing along with us on mute, which is how we've been sort of continuing on with some music making at the Pioneer Valley Symphony. So in a couple of seconds, I'll share that, but just a bit of background with you about this upcoming piece, which is of course in your program. So this piece is I Love, Alas, I Love Thee by the English composer Thomas Morley, who is one of two composers who was a contemporary of Shakespeare and set some of Shakespeare's verse while they were both alive and, living in the same place, which is sort of fascinating. And Thomas Morley also was the English composer who brought Italian early music to England. So he brought a lot of Italian dance forms with him from journeys to Italy, and also other friends who were composers who worked in Italy. And this is one such example of a piece like that. It's a ballet. And you can hear that in the way that it has strong and weak beats. So you'll kind of hear it as a dance form going through. I will share my screen here in a moment. So before we go and sing this piece together with a recording, I thought it may be useful if I walk you through one of the parts for this piece, so that if you're seeing it for the first time, you have something to sort of hang on to and sing a little bit with. So we'll just sing through, I'll sing through the top line, the cantus, or the soprano 1 line. And you can sing it in any octave you want. If you're a soprano type person and this is a comfy place for you to be, that's great. If you're not and you would rather sing here in this octave, that's also fine. And of course, if you'd like to sing one of the other 4 parts as we get going, it's totally up to you, of course. But so we'll just walk through this top line together. I'm going to make sure that this will turn when I need it to. I think that'll work. We're about here in this tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, about there. And I'm on the top line. Give it a go if you'd like to. Here we go. Ready? And I love, alas, I love thee. I love, alas, I love, alas, I love thee. My dainty darling, my dainty darling, I love, and then it goes back to the beginning. So you repeat that idea twice. If you want to have another go at this very fast 16th note motive here, we could try that one more time. It's these 2 bars that go by quite quickly. So we'll start here at the end of the 3rd measure, just to give you one more shot at those fast 16th notes in that motive. Here we go, 1 and 2. I love, alas, I love thee. Okay, and then, as I said, that repeats. And then the sort of B section of this piece begins here in measure 15. So if you're singing that top line, you've heard a few other voices come through with come kiss me then, come kiss me then, come kiss me then. And you're the last one to enter. So we'll sing this to the end. 1 and 2 and 1. Come kiss me then, come kiss me then, come kiss me. Amaryllis, Amaryllis, my lovely then sweet Phyllis, my lovely then sweet Phyllis, my lovely then sweet Phyllis, my lovely then sweet Phyllis. And then that idea repeats as well. Something I find particularly hilarious about this this text setting is that, you know, it's Amaryllis who's the lovely one, and yet it's Phyllis who apparently is not quite so lovely or sweet, and that's who we spend most of our time thinking about in the second half of the song. For some reason she just gets a bad rap, but poor Phyllis, lovely Amaryllis. So here we go. We now can, in one moment, we'll sing through this with a recording, and the score will play for you as we go through, and you can sing along on mute at home. One, two.
I love, alas, I love thee. Alas, I love thee. Alas, I love thee. Alas, I love thee. My dainty darling, my dainty darling. I love, alas, I love thee. Alas, I love thee. Alas, I love
per Tien has taught us how to applaud in a virtual sphere, and this is how we tend to do that. So if, if your video is on and you'd like to applaud at the end, please feel free to do this. Great. Okay. Thank you for joining in for that. The next piece on the program is a video performance of a trio of singers who are very involved at the PVS. They all sing in the PVS chorus, but they also work behind the scenes to make things come together. So they're highly prized and dedicated members of the Pioneer Valley Symphony. And they were going to sing a trio on our March concert of 2020, which of course didn't happen in real life. And so when this program came to be, I reached out to them to say, would you like to do something virtual for this Fools in Love program? And they obliged, and we're very grateful for that. Thank you very much for putting this together. This is a performance from Becky and Yana and Kristen of Johnny Said No by Vijay Singh. And there's also a special guest, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Johnny said no, Johnny said no, Johnny said no. Johnny said no, Johnny said no, Johnny said no. Johnny said no, Johnny said no, Johnny said Johnny said no, Johnny said Johnny said Johnny said Johnny said Johnny said no, Johnny said 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 no. Johnny was a handsome boy who lived beyond the river. In the spring he'd come to town and catch the young girls' eyes. When the girls would talk to him, young Johnny's voice would quiver with a shy and nervous tone, and all the girls would sigh. Johnny said, 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 no. Johnny said, 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 no. Johnny, will you dance with me and take me to the hayride? I'll be true to only you, and you'll be true to me. When the moon shines on the glen, I want you there by my side. Johnny, don't you understand? Your wife I want to be. Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, no. Oh, Johnny, Johnny dear, Johnny dear. All the girls in town will cry the day I marry Johnny. I'll bat my eyes and softly sigh and wait for his reply. But Johnny said, 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 no. Johnny said, Johnny said, no. Johnny said, 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 no. Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, no. Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, no. Johnny said, no. Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, no. Johnny said, Johnny said, Johnny said, no.
Thank you so much, you three, for contributing that. We are so appreciative. And of course, that thank you very much to Becky's dog, Nutty, who was willing to star as Johnny in that musical adaptation. Thank you very much for that. So part of this program, the reimagined version, we thought what a great opportunity to include some poetry and prose from local writers in the Pioneer Valley. And we partnered with the Straw Dog Writers Guild, who said that they had a few writers and poets who might be willing to contribute something for this program on this theme of Fools in Love. And so this next piece in the program is one such piece. Sally Belrose is a local author who writes about class, sex, sexuality, gender, illness, absurdity, and growing old. She won a National Endowment for the Arts Fellowship for her novel, The Girls Club. And we're very grateful to Sally for sharing an excerpt of her latest novel, which was just released, which is called Fishwives. And in this video, Sally is reading her work, and she introduces this piece and gives you a little bit of the context.
The piece I'm going to read is part of a story of long-lasting, messy love that survived for over 60 years against all odds. It's an excerpt from the novel Fishwives, the story of two poor elderly women, 89-year-old Regina and 90-year-old Jackie, who are driving to the dump in the snow on a winter's day in a decades-old car that they need a screwdriver to get in gear. Jackie's depressed and has a history of a gambling problem. Regina has convinced Jackie they should go to the dump because it's Jackie's happy place. The structure of the book is that each chapter starts out with a few pages of the old women on the ride or at the dump, followed by a longer section of the story that one of the characters evokes from the other. It's a book about aging, class, sexuality, love, loss, and how we make sense of our entwined lives through the stories we tell each other. This is the beginning of chapter 5, when the women arrive at the dump, which is really a landfill. Jackie has always been content driving. Regina has always been content being the passenger. They relax into the ride to the dump. Regina enjoys the cocky look on Jackie's face as she settles in behind the wheel. It was just $5. I'm sorry. Regina is feeling guilty about threatening Jackie with Gamblers Anonymous if she bought any more lottery tickets, tired of being stuck in the worry rut of losing the house, tired of Jackie wasting money they don't have when she's depressed. Regina praises her and decides Jackie has kept her physical appeal. Meaty, cropped gray hair, steel blue eyes with droopy lids, dignified. Jackie can't do the swagger anymore. But the facial expression is about the same as it was half a century ago. Butch's farewell, look-wise in old age. You're still handsome, Regina says. Jackie says nothing, but gives Regina a sideways glance. Regina decides Jackie's wry sense of humor is visible in her profile. Jackie's way of saying so much by saying so little cracked Regina open from the start. Infuriated her too. Regina looks down and notices that the quilting of her parka is frayed. No wonder she lives in the past. If she weeds out the arguments, money woes, the gambling, Jackie refusing monogamy in the early days, Regina's own bossiness, justified and unjustified jealousy, it's all Regina and Jackie, screwing around, having a good time. Poor and young, Jackie can translate in her mind, romanticize. Poor and old, no charm in frayed polyester when you're poor and old. Jackie catches Regina looking in the mirror. You're all right, Jackie grins. Damn if Regina doesn't catch a ghost of the ache this statement used to bring on. The first time Jackie said, you're all right, was the late 1950s. It means thank you or I love you. It's the physical expression, the eyes that do the best part of Jackie's talking. Regina pats Jackie's leg, well below public viewing range. Regina feels Jackie squirm. Inside, a moving car is a public place to Jackie. Instead of saying she hates public shows of affection, Jackie says, I hate Xmas, which Regina knows is not true. Jackie likes the decorated tree and the company that shows up at Christmas. And she loves sacrilege, loves Mary because her mother loved Mary, but hates the Blessed Virgin part. And just as her mother did when Jackie was a child, a few years ago, Jackie started kneeling before her bed, her lips moving silently. Maybe she prays to win the lottery. Regina never asks. Their days are long, the house is small, and Regina feels a little privacy is not too much to ask of someone who loves you. Jackie pulls her head back sharply and adjusts her seat, a reaction to her hip hurting. Tell you what, Regina says, if the Social Security checks are in the mailbox when we get back, I'll buy a fat chicken with $1 off coupon and roast it with those tiny red potatoes you like. Their company meal. When did they last make a meal for company? Jackie drives slowly down the dirt road to the dump. They head toward the shack with smoke curling out the chimney. Regina hugs her handbag. Getting rid of stuff makes her optimistic. Maybe they can float in the world a little longer if they get rid of the dried up Christmas tree tied on their roof. She squints. The Buick's belly scrapes the ground as the plowed road becomes a channel of frozen tire ruts. They park next to a sign near the shack that reads, "Honk if you need help." Jackie doesn't honk. She gets out of the car and limps towards the shack. Jackie's parka is blue. Regina's is maroon. A hairy guy, also in a parka, green and grease-stained, with what might be real matted fur on the hood, comes around the tar-papered building. He glances at the tree. "You got a sticker, buddy?" Jackie looks at him sideways until he recognizes her and says, "Oh, Jackie, sorry, been a while." "Tom," she nods hello. Maybe his name is Dick or Harry, but it said Tom on the hat he used to wear. He was young when he wore that hat. Younger than now, anyway. Regina gets out of the car because even though Jackie is the gambler, she won't play the poor old lady card. Their sticker has run out. It costs $25 for a new one. "Regina," he scratches his woolly beard and leans on the smoking prohibited sign. Regina blushes because it's come to this, a thrill that the dump guy remembers her name. We're short on cash. She can't decide if she should appeal to his possible love for his mother or just look needy. He looks around. Not another soul in sight. $5, I'll help you dump it, he says. We'll manage. Jackie could pass for 70 when she takes her wide-legged stance and looks you in the eye. Thanks just the same, she says, and pulls 4 singles out of her wallet. Regina digs in her handbag for change. Keep it, Tom holds up a hand. Regina smells a whiff of whiskey on his breath, which may explain why he's letting them in. Can you believe this? Jackie says as Tom opens the gate. She's been trying to figure out an angle to roam around unescorted in the Buick through this landfill for years. He thinks we're going to loan this tree and come right back like good little old ladies. Regina laughs. Jackie snorts. Regina didn't realize how worried she was about Jackie's state of mind until the relief of that snort.
Thank you so much, Sally, for reading and for granting us that excerpt from your latest novel. We're appreciative of that. And thank you for sharing those characters with us, too. The next piece in the program is a virtual choir performance recording of But Not For Me, which is from the Gershwin musical Girl Crazy. And just a few sort of important shout outs for this virtual choir performance video. One such shout out is to John Pearson, who is a PBS chorus member who graciously once again hosted recording sessions, distanced and outdoor at his home to make this possible for some folks who didn't want to record on their own at home virtually, but wanted to just sort of walk in. So John set up essentially a recording studio at his house so that everyone could come by one-on-one and record their part for this. So thank you very much, John, for facilitating those sessions. We really appreciate that. And thank you to Andrea McDermott and Henry Gibson for taking the 2 solos. You'll hear Andrea at the beginning and Henry at the end. And of course, thanks to Lemmy Gertowski for editing the audio and video and putting all of this together for us. Here is Gershwin arrangement, Philip Kern of But Not For Me.
Stars
It's not for
Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in that video and for singing in that project. That I should say too that song, But Not For Me, actually the Chet Baker version of that song, which I'm sure many of you know. There are of course many recorded versions of that song. Ella Fitzgerald won a Grammy for one recording once. But the Chet Baker version of that song is sort of the inspiration for this entire program, particularly that line, "I was a fool to fall and get that way." And as you heard in sort of the pre-show rundown, there are so many songs that fit that description that refer to us as fools in love, all of the foolish things that we do for it and how we call ourselves fools for falling in love in the first place. That was kind of the catalyst for the whole thing. So thanks to everyone for participating in that one. The next thing on the program is another sing-along. This piece is by Gustav Holst, the English composer who famously wrote The Planets. And this piece, I Love My Love, he actually finished in the same year that he finished The Planets, 1916. He wrote this piece as one of 6 in a set for a choral conductor friend in England. Holst is sort of known as a composer who he didn't really gain fame until he finished The Planets. That was kind of the piece that launched him into fame. And he has many pieces like this one that we're about to sing that befit school choruses and community choruses, because that was really sort of Holst's primary instrument that he had to work with as a composer. He taught in schools for many years, and he was known as a strong educator. He's known as like a great educator. So many of his early pieces sort of fit into that general genre. This one, I Love My Love, this is a Cornish folk song that Holst has set. So he set 6 verses, which we'll take a look at in a second, one of the verses. And he sort of trades the verses between all the different voice parts, and then he fills in ornamentation in the other parts throughout. So what we'll do, we won't go through the whole piece before we sing it with the recording, but we will just go through sort of like we did with the Morley earlier. We'll go through just the sort of melody for the verse, which won't always be in the top line as it is here, but will be in each verse that you hear throughout. So hopefully if you're seeing this for the first time and you do want to sing along at home, you can kind of tap into that melody that's there present all the time. So this is sort of where we are musically. And interestingly, in Dorian mode, that's kind of the scale that we're living in. So I'll be up here in the soprano register, which goes sort of on the higher side. So if you want to sort of jump between octaves or sing this in the lower register, of course, please feel free. So we'll go through just this first verse melody and text together to give you a sense for what that sounds like. Abroad as I was walking one evening in the spring, I heard a maiden melody so sweetly for to sing. Her chains she rattled with her hands, and thus replied she, I love my love because I love my love loves me. Oh, cruel one is, and then it goes on. And it's not always, as I said, it's not always in the soprano voice. The other thing to be wary of is there are quite a few tempo changes in this throughout. So just be prepared for kind of each new verse is sort of in its own world in terms of the tempo. So here we are. Here's the starting pitch one more time. And let's sing along with the Holst singers. One, two, three.
Abroad as I was walking
So haunting, that melody, but at least we get a happy ending at the end, which is nice, just in terms of the text. Not too much tragedy. This is Fools in Love. We're not, not after too much seriousness. So thank you for singing along to that. And next, I'm very excited to introduce the next three poems. Another poet and author who works with and writes with and teaches as part of Straw Dog Writers Guild, Michael Favela Goldman, has given us three poems to contribute to this program. So the other thing to know about Michael Goldman is that he has translated over 15 long works in from Danish into English. So he translates works, but he also writes his own poems, and he's also a jazz clarinetist as well. So here in this next video, you'll hear Michael reading three of his poems: Situation, Low Technicals, and The Contract.
Situation. After all this time, you're still giving me not what I want, but what you want me to have, so you can get it from me. And after all this time, I'm still giving you not what you want, but what I want you to have, so I can get it from you. Low technicals. When you turn to me from the pair's ice skating video and press several parts of your body against several parts of mine, no one is judging, not even us. As my arm snakes around you and we slide half off the sofa, executing a perfect double klutz, and I catch you, your head back, laughing, our somewhat fit bodies rolling, panting, flowers and medals, completely superfluous. The contract. I will make you miserable for years. You will make me miserable for years. I will love you despite this. You will love me despite this. I will blame myself for hurting you. You will blame yourself for hurting me. Though it wasn't my fault, though it wasn't your fault. I will be patient while you are lost. You will be patient while I am lost. I will take the journey back to myself. You will take the journey back to yourself. In the distance, I will see you waiting for me. In the distance, you will see me waiting for you.
Thank you so much, Michael, for those poems. I think the three of them as a set in particular, you know, the philosophical to the comical to the sort of paradoxical nature of love, kind of all in one go there. So thank you for sharing those with us. Thank you again to Straw Dog Writers Guild for contributing work for this program. We've made our way to our final sing-along of the evening, which is a set of three pieces, three madrigals by Emmylou Deemer, an American composer. She was born in 1927. She had primarily a compositional and academic career. She taught theory and composition at Maryland and USC, and she had a Fulbright at one point in her career. She pulled the three texts for this program from Shakespeare. All three are texts spoken by either clowns or fools or servants in their role as sort of the wise fool in Shakespearean plays. And so there are different characters between the three pieces, but they all sort of come from a character that you might not expect has this kind of wisdom, and yet is able to share these interesting, lofty thoughts about the character of love and relationships between people. So what we'll do for these, since there are three pieces, each of them is quite short. We won't speak, or rather we won't sing through every single line, but I'll just give you a little bit of a sense of how each of them sounds, each of the three of them, and then we'll sing through all three as a set. So this first one in the set, O Mistress Mine, begins here, and I'll sing sort of a few different parts. I'll kind of jump around to give you a sense of what we can expect here in this first movement. So from the first bar. Mistress mine, where are you roaming? Oh, stay and hear your true love's coming, that can sing both high and low, high and low, high and low. That gets you in. That idea comes back at sort of the second half of the piece. Also, you should know that the tempo for this one is really more like... Mistress mine, where are you roaming? So you have to be ready to sort of move through this one. Okay, a couple more ideas coming in this first one. The second one, Take, oh, take those lips away, is a bit slower and more lyrical. So I'll sing the top line here to get you into this second movement. Take, oh, take those lips away, that so sweetly were forsworn, and those eyes, the break of day, lights that do mislead the morn. That same theme once again sort of is a bookend, and it comes back at the end of the second movement. So we'll skip ahead to the third. The third, we're calling the sort of jaunty, frivolous, upbeat nature of the first movement. It goes by quite quickly, but we'll just get through kind of the first theme here in the third movement. Sigh no more, lady, lady, sigh no more, sigh no more, no more. Then by deceivers ever, one foot in sea, one foot in sea, one foot in sea, and one on shore, and one on shore, to one thing constant never. But let them go and be blithe and bonny, converting your songs of war into hey nonny nonny, hey nonny nonny, hey nonny nonny. So that same theme comes back, and also in this one, in the third one, be ready for this tempo. Sigh no more, lady, sigh no more. So it really is a whirlwind, and we just go right through it. So here we go. We'll start with the first movement. Here are all three of Three Madrigals by Emma Lucy.
Oh, mistress mine, where are you roaming? Oh, stay and hear your true love's coming, and can sing both high and high and high and high and high and low.
Drink the further, pretty sweet, drink the further, pretty sweet. Journeys end in lovers' meeting, every wise man's son doth know. What is not hereafter?
Present mirth hath present laughter, but still calm is still and
Still and
still and still and still and sure.
in delay there lies no plenty. In delay there lies no plenty. In delay there lies no plenty. Come kiss me sweet,
Come kiss me sweet,
so soft will not
so soft will not endure, not endure, endure.
take those leaves away, that so sweetly were forsworn. And those eyes, the break of day, lights that do mislead the morn. But my kisses bring again, bring again. Seals of love, seals of love, but sealed in vain, sealed in vain. Take those lips away, that so sweet.
great. I love those pieces. Yeah, right. They move so quickly, but they're so much fun, and they also are in. There's an arrangement of them for 2 parts. So there's the sort of mixed choir version, and there's also the 2-part version of those pieces. But I meant to say too, if you don't know very many pieces by Emmylou Deemer, check out some of her other works, because so many of her choral works are in that sort of vein. They're seemingly lighthearted and boisterous, and they have a lot of color and really active piano accompaniments. But she also is very well versed in atonal music and theory, and many of her more complex pieces for organ and for keyboard sound entirely different from what we just heard. So if you haven't explored any of her works, check out some of her other output. So finally, we've reached the finale of the program. We were so grateful to partner with Enchanted Circle Theater for this final piece on the program. Enchanted Circle Theater is, of course, the Holyoke-based nonprofit educational theater company that uses theater as a teaching tool in the classroom and also on stage. So Julissa Rodriguez has written this piece and recorded it for inclusion in this program. And she's a visual and performing teaching artist and member of several different theater companies, including Enchanted Circle. So we have sort of poked fun at love. We have observed tragedy of many different kinds, and we've kind of delved into the philosophical. And Julissa will bring us sort of full circle at the end of the program. Her beautiful piece, which includes both spoken word and percussion, highlights love's very real value in our lives and its importance to us all. So here is Julissa's piece.
I dedicate this to every single person I love and to love itself. In this moment in time, there is nothing more essential to the soul than love. Love that crosses all dimensions. Love that breaks through all barriers. Love that mends all broken things. I devote myself to this love. I hold a mirror to my heart and reflect on every part and piece of myself. I make peace with myself and love with abandon every bit, so that I may sit and spend the hours and minutes loving all parts and pieces of you. I'm in it. I commit to you. In my heart, you hold sway. The unfolding symmetry of my soul expands. Within each moment our eyes meet, and with every breath we share, I dare not compare, conceal it or give it away. I say every prayer that I know to the heavens, that every good thing comes your way, that each day with you is longer, and each night studded with the brightest stars, that time is slowed, and that every month is May. In my heart, you hold sway. My love for you dances between the constellations of my soul, dares traverse the depths of the unknown, flows like verses through the universe of my whole being. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? The colors of my love scatter across the sky like the northern lights, carrying all that I am at the speed of light. I invite you to take flight with me, to create new worlds with me, to radiate and unfurl with me, to receive abundance with me, to believe in magic with me, to behold resplendence with me, to be whole with me, to endure with me, be pure of heart with me, conspire with me, be on fire with me. But love doesn't require you to give up anything. Love is like freedom bells that ring. It is the beauty you decide to bring. So never give up on finding new things to love about yourself. the world itself, and everything in it. Love is a shared vision. In love, there is no division. It is not confined to a single space or time. Suspend your disbelief in the divine and spend your time believing in love. Love that illuminates all dark places, love that reveals all truths, love that heals all of you. Because it's true. True love is proof that we are here and we are winning, sure as the world is spinning. Now, let us go back to the beginning. In this moment in time, there is nothing more essential to the soul than love. Make love your goal. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Julissa, for that beautiful piece. You hold sway. We're so appreciative of your contributions to this show. And thank you, Enchanted Circle Theater. Thank you, Straw Dog Writers Guild. Thank you, Happier Valley Comedy. Thank you, Ben Grosscup, who has been running this production behind the scenes. Thank you, Emma Nemeth, for your work in the chat and in keeping us all on the straight and narrow with the program. And of course, thank you all so much for joining us tonight, for participating in the program. We couldn't do this without you, and we're so appreciative for your attendance and your participation tonight. We hope this has brought you a little bit of joy and love in an otherwise maybe somewhat dreary March season. So thank you for being here with us tonight, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks for participating. Bye.